Yeah. Ma'am? Okay. I can't leave my door open like that. Sorry about that, y'all. I was on commercial break. All right. So let's get to the part about where you say you paid your sister-in-law. Let's get to that. Okay, so you're saying that you paid her. You don't know how much money you paid her. Okay, so let's figure this out. Let's step over to the monitor. Because I would like to see this. Okay, so let's look closely. See amounts of $5,000, $3,000, $4,000. Then I see a $500. So easier said than done. So you're telling me that you paid your sister-in-law to see if your man was cheating?
Yeah, we finished that.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you need to put this part out here. Okay, oh.
Okay. All right. Give me just a minute. Going to commercial. Okay. So we're going to get to the polygraph test. I asked the help of my licensed polygraph examiner to help us sift out this drama. You asked him, have you had physical sexual contact with a woman in question that you were engaged with? What was his response? What did the polygraph reveal? You know what we not gonna do in this courtroom? What we not? Hold on, ma'am. You better be quiet. I'm gonna throw this gavel across the room. This is my courtroom now. Listen. I do not need your feedback. We'll be right back with the We'll be right back from commercial.
He was supposed to pay for our son's diapers, but he ended up betting $2,000.
It was worth the risk. Is this the life you want?
No.
Every tear.
I love my wife.
You don't.
With all my
You
heart.
didn't stop. You're lying, Corey.
You came to divorce court to get answers. I will get them for you.
Leads to her judgment.
Be a man so that your sons can admire the person who they live with.
Real people. Real cases. Divorce court.
When I first seen it, it was just.
You lied.
What are you getting your body done for?
I paid her to text me when something was going on under my nose while I'm at work because it seems that she take the money. She take the money every time.
All right. I heard enough. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I've heard enough, and I've heard enough, and I'm ready to get to these results with the help and list of our licensed polygraph examiner, Mr. Michael Martin. With over 30 years of experience in polygraph examinations. Let's welcome him into the courtroom, please. Mr. Michael Martin, how are you today? I'm wonderful. Welcome to the courtroom. Let's get to the polygraph test. You asked him on a series of questions. You asked him, since being in a relationship with your fiance, Miss Boston, have you had sexual contact with the woman in question that you were engaged with? What was his response to that question? And what did the polygraph answer give? Okay. You would then ask, have you had sexual contact of any kind or exchanged money for sex? What was the response to that question? And what did the polygraph answer give? Okay, so we have that. You will then ask, have you had sexual contact? Mr. Boston and Mr. Brownlee have had sexual contact with a woman he went on a date with. What was his response to that question? And what did the polygrapher's answer reveal? Okay, let's move on to the next question. You would then ask, have you had sexual contact of any kind? What was his response with another woman? And what did the polygraph reveal? Okay, so we're done with the regular polygraph examination questions. Now, coming up is the so-called modification questions. Here we go with question number 1. You were asked, on the series of questions, you were asked 4 questions. Have you had sexual contact or exchanged money for sexual intercourse with a woman that you were engaged with? What was his response to that question? And what did the modification give? Okay, let's move on to the next question. You were then asked, have you had sexual contact with, in question, the woman that so-called called your fiance and called her out of her name? What was your response? What was his response? What did the modification give? Now we're going to get to the bottom of this. Did you agree to marry another woman while you were engaged to your fiance? What was his response to that question? What did the modification give? So the final question, have you, listen folks, listen audience, this is going to be funny. This is going to sound funny or weird. Have you had sexual contact or intercourse or any kind of sexual activity while being engaged to your fiance, Miss Boston? His response was, what did the modification give? You know what? Hold on. Miss Boston. I will throw this gavel across the room if you don't be quiet. Listen. There's so much you could take from an individual in the courtroom, and there's so much you cannot take. That I cannot take. Listen, I understand you are upset because your fiance done cheated, but you don't get to come in the courtroom and yell across the room. Okay? I don't care if you're Miss Boston, Miss Austin, Miss Poston. Okay? What you don't do is do that. And when the judge is talking, you be quiet. You understand? So that you will give the other person what's called respect. You understand? Okay, I just want to make sure we got a clear understanding. And you, Mr. Brownlee, I can't say the same for you. Because you sitting up here, you done told all kinds of stories, talk about you did admit cheating, but it was just a friend. No, not when these results come out I appreciate you, Mr. Martin. Your duties are done for the day. Not when you are having a test done and that you're engaged. You don't get to do that. We're going to be right back.
When I first seen it, it was just,
You lie.
what are you getting your body done for?
I paid her to text me when something was going on under my nose while I'm at work because it seems that she take the money. She take the money every time.
This was earlier in the episode, in today's episode. So you mean to tell me, hold on, Officer Wilson, did you hear her say, did she just say she paid her sister-in-law to see if her fiance was cheating? I want to make sure I heard my ear correctly. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me you bribed your sister-in-law into seeing and finding out if your fiance was cheating? Listen, I don't give a damn who it was. You had the nerve to do that. Listen, if my fiance was out there cheating, I don't need my sister-in-law to go out there. I don't need anybody to go out and find out somebody's cheating. I am the check cheater around here. Okay? I know when somebody's cheating. If you want to watch the full episode, it's going to be right here on TikTok Live. All right. You know what, Miss Boston? I understand that you're upset. I understand that you're heartbroken. Because hold on, I'm talking. You knew all this time that he was cheating. And you're going to sit up here and deny the fact that he wasn't out there cheating. And for you to say, oh, I didn't know, oh, it's just a coincidence. Let me tell you a thing of 1, 2, 3. What you don't do, Mr. Brownlee, is you tell lies. Yeah. You done? Okay. Officer Wilson, would you mind escorting Miss Boston out of the courtroom, please? Thank you. Appreciate it. What you done did, sir, is a whole lot. And you just got yourself caught up in a mess when you can't get yourself out of, Mr. Brownlee. I wish I could say something good for you, but I don't got nothing good to say at all. You know, from the words of Bernie Mac, he would say, you an a-hole. But from the words of Cat Williams, You ain't nothing but a, from the words of Ray Charles and Kanye West and Jamie Foxx. You ain't nothing but a gold digger. But from the words of Elvis Presley, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Ty, she just kicked your ass to the curb. She just kicked your ass to the curb. That's my dirty. We're done here. Made in Georgia. Made in Georgia. You've been watching a special presentation of Judge Jordan Productions.